Winter's coming up, so come on. We've been prepping, yeah, we're 50 years strong. So if you're knocking on our door, we're ready to help you learn and explore. We're creating whatever you wanna be. We're explaining how you can succeed. It's amazing everything you can achieve at Mohawk.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison Fitzpatrick.
And I'm Kyle Medeiros. Welcome to one of several half-hour shows dedicated to the life and times of Mohawk College.
Why are we celebrating? Well, it's the 50th anniversary of the community college system in Ontario, and Mohawk College can hold its head high when it comes to being part of a great post-secondary system. As our theme song says, it's amazing.
Each one of our programs has a different theme, and this one is all about our student government, our continuing educational participation, and our alumni.
In every post-secondary educational institution, there is always a student-run government which speaks to the other needs of the students besides education. Over the years, that role has expanded.
The organization that represents the students of Mohawk has had different names over the years, but it has continued to grow, providing more services than ever to the Mohawk population.
In 1964, students and staff put their heads together to figure out how to get funding for Mohawk's extracurricular activities. As a result, the Students' Union Corporation, or SUC for short, came into being on December 11, 1964. With the student population growing, space began to be a problem for the college during the 1980s. The SUC itself held several discussions before agreeing that a new space for student activities should be built. The Student Center opened in 1985. As 1994 drew to a close, the boards of the SUC, the Students' Representative Council, or SRC, and the Students' Athletic Committee, SAC, were merged together. On September 1, 1996, the reorganized SUC officially became the Mohawk Students Association, or MSA, as it's known today.
Joining us to talk more about this student activity history are a few of the MSA's presidents. At our roundtable, we have Tracy Kaddish, Kat Cullen, and Kyle Datskew, Mohawk students who have all played a key role in student life at Mohawk College. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I'll start with you, Tracy.
Okay.
What was the MSA like when you were president in 1990?
Well, for me, the MSA at that time, not a lot of students knew about the MSA. So it was about getting the word out, letting them know about the services that we had to offer. And we did a great campaign, and it was based on dynamite sticks. And we stuffed different things into the dynamite sticks, and even a spring break trip. And I remember my council coming in, and they thought I was crazy, but we ordered thousands of red mailing tubes, and I had them drill holes into it, and then we actually put wicks, just like rope wicks, and then when the students opened them, they were like blasting off into the office or blast into the office. We did a whole blast campaign, and we actually built a huge dynamite wall to get the students to come in, and then a few of the lucky cylinders were filled with spring break trips. And so at that time, the students weren't really aware of what we did, and so we really had to beef up our promotion and draw them into the office. And we found that it was a very conservative organization, and we wanted to open the doors and be more inclusive to our students, and to really invite them into our office, and to even enjoy the surroundings and get to know the people that were representing them. So at that time, it was when I first took over, it was a pretty closed door situation, and then we wanted to open it up and bring in as many people as we possibly could into that office, so they knew what we were all about.
Wow, well, it sounds like a bunch of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. So Kat, from what you heard from Tracy and what you know, what has changed since you were president?
Oh gosh, so between Tracy's time at the MSA and mine, I would say we had kind of the opposite problem. So when I was the president of the MSA, we were very well known. People knew who the MSA representatives were, but they were also kind of blaming us for all of the issues. So it was a very busy place. There was people coming and going into the office all the time, and they knew that we were the ones to come to for help, which was great. because we were there to help the students and give them as much feedback and as much support as we could, but the student leaders often got blamed for a lot of the things that were going on around the college. Some of those were things that had just been implemented. So a lot of people struggle with change. One of the biggest things that we changed in my year was it was the very first year of the bus pass. Still a contentious topic for lots of students because it is a mandatory bus pass. It was also the first year of a full-time president, so lots of big changes there. It was also the first year of the green bin composting program. So lots of big changes and lots of engaged students and lots of interested students coming in and asking all of these questions, and it became a lot more of a political office, more so than events driven. While we did have so many events and all of our events sold out and they were always constantly busy, it did become a very political office because there were so many contentious issues during my time there. So I'd say that's probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of things that have changed over the years, for sure, and very important things too as well. So Kyle, you're here with us today.
Yes.
You are the current president
That's
of the
correct,
MSA.
yes.
So the MSA has expanded both structurally and financially over the
Absolutely.
years. What does the MSA offer today that it wasn't able to before?
Well, on that note, I want to touch on something both of these past presidents have mentioned, the fact that one of the things we'll always struggle with is apathy. Right? It's almost better that a student is upset about something because then at least they care, right? And then I can talk to them and we can figure out the situation and get to a resolution that works for everyone. But when they're disengaged and they're apathetic, that's the worst case scenario, right? But with the changes that we've had, the biggest ones I believe come from our growth of our food services and the revenue driven from those food services, specifically over the past 5 or 6 years, which have really allowed us to grow our programming budget, our events budget, and put on more of a show for the students in Mohawk College. But what we've found recently, and this has been a big trend, you know, and you look at the time between Kat and I's years, is the trend in students necessarily don't want the events, right? They want more events focused around professional development. They want more academically based events. They don't necessarily want the pub nights or all those events all the time, right? They prefer, you know, they still enjoy the concerts, don't get me wrong, and we do sell those out, but it's minimalized, and you know, we feel a lot of that has to do with issues that students face financially and not always being able to go out all the time, right? So having one of our challenges is, yes, we've grown, but now we've got to adapt, and now we've got to change with the events that are coming in and how we can roll with that.
Right. Well, you know, we'll see what comes of this term for you, but it's going well so far.
Absolutely,
So.
it's been a very fast half year so far, and we'll see where it goes here on out.
Yeah. So I'll pose a question to all of you. Where do you guys see the MSA going in the next 50 years?
Great question. I think when you think of the next 50, I guess you have to have a base, a fundamental start. And I think because there's been such a groundwork laid out for the MSA and we're so well known and we have a positive reputation, I think it's continuing to build on that and thinking about what you said, what's next is we need to grow our business ventures and be able to do so, we need more space. So I think for that to look at, we need to look at the ability of growing the student center. And you know, there's not a lot of room to grow in the college, so we have to go up. And that's a few years out, if soon at all. So that's something that we do have to look at, but that I think is the next step.
Yeah, and I think building on those services, you know, I think the more services that you can offer the students, the better, like creating a little city for them, so that they have, they feel like they're a part of the community and their community is within the college, and that's how you're going to grow your alumni as well, and those that will give back to the college, not necessarily with money, but with their time and just mentoring future students and future grads. So I think that's really important, the services.
Yeah, and for me in the next 50 years for the MSA, I mean, no matter what, the Student Association is always going to be involved in some events, some governance, some, you know, political aspects, and some services. So I don't think there's ever going to be an element of the Student Association that goes away. They will always have, you know, a finger in every kind of area and a hand in every area of the total student experience. I think what's going to change the most is, like Kyle said, the reputation of the MSA. The MSA, when they go to like different organizations and different conferences across the country, the MSA is very well respected and very well known. And I think we're going to take more of a leadership role in a lot of those conferences and those organizations, and really put the MSA on the map to say, we have these services, we have these things in place that we can offer to other student associations. And the other thing that I think is really important and really unique here at Mohawk is the relationship between the college, and the student association. You don't see that in other colleges and universities. You really don't. There's a lot of adversity, a lot of hostility between student association and student leadership and college leadership. And Mohawk has got to be proud of that, because that is an incredible, incredible relationship, and something that is very tender, and you have to keep, cultivating that relationship over the next 50 years.
And amazing, and I hope to see positive things come out from the MSA in the next 50 years. Thank you guys so much for coming here today. We appreciate it, and it was great to hear from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back with more inspiring stories as our celebration of Mohawk College's 50th anniversary continues right after this.
Welcome back. And if you're just joining us, you're watching one of several shows we've put together to celebrate 50 years of community colleges in Ontario, and more specifically, Mohawk College.
One area of the college that sees a lot of traffic is not a classroom, a gym, or a cafeteria. It's the Student Center. That's because the Student Center includes everything near and dear to the most students' hearts: food, entertainment, and beverages, and an iconic structure that has recognized both current students and alumni as well.
The cellar was originally used to store food for the patients and staff at the hospital, which originally owned the land where the Fennel campus now stands. The cellar had a shaky start, as the college debated whether or not to even open a campus bar. The discussion shifted back and forth, and the bar was almost shut down before it even opened. Against all odds, the cellar finally opened on March 8, 1975. Over the summers of 1998 and 1999, major renovations took place to both the cellar and the Arnie. Nearly $1 million was spent ensuring top-notch facilities for students to enjoy. In 2003, the cellar received a historical designation and is now one of Hamilton's most significant landmarks. Its iconic arched vaults represent a unique architectural style that can't be found anywhere else in Ontario.
Joining us in studio today to talk more about the Student Center is a graduate of the Business Administration program and former SRC president. She is also a former alumni board member and is currently a director of the Alumni Council. Please join me in welcoming Carrie Langford. Hi, Carrie. How are you today?
Good, Kyle.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you came in to join us today. Now, first question for you. What was it like as your time as the SRC president?
Well, that was a long, long time ago, not in a galaxy far, far away, but anyway, it was a long time ago, and certainly what I remember about that year most was the political climate. And what I mean by that was I had been on the council a couple of years before that, and we seemed to be planning events, having lots of fun. But the year that I was president, we had some issues around tuition costs, and they're no different than really what's happening now. I mean, I have just one graduated from college. I have a son here at Mohawk. People are always concerned about tuition, but in that year, we sort of became a bit of a political council in terms of trying to get the government to see that maybe they needed to, reduce tuition.
So how did you initially feel about the Student Center?
Well, as someone reminded me, I suppose the Student Center was being built, or we were planning that when I was the SRC president. So what I can remember most was that there were many, many, many meetings with the college.
Right.
They were very good about getting the students involved, with the planning of the Student Center. So everybody was very excited about it, because before that, of course, we had the Arnold Center, which was wonderful. But as you can imagine, with those little caves or whatever that were underneath, it wasn't exactly conducive to pubs and dances and that sort of stuff, which we had to use the cafeteria for.
Do you feel that the addition of the Student Center has been good for student accessibility?
Absolutely. I mean, anything that you do here at the college, everything that you do here at the college is for the students. But certainly a student center, even when we were planning it, everything was to do with students. I mean, the fact that you have I shouldn't say a restaurant, but fast food places down there now, and you have a proper pub, that students can have some fun at. So oh yeah, I think it's really helped with student engagement.
So what do you think about, now you were involved in the design back in 1982 of that student center. What do you think about the design now?
I think it's fabulous. I mean, you've continued. I was just talking to Kyle, your current, it's not called the SRC anymore, but your current
MSA.
student, your student MSA, or your current MSA president, and he was talking about all the changes that you've made down there, not necessarily to the structure, but to what's inside of it, because you've got to keep making sure that you're doing what the students are looking for. So we were just talking about maybe at some point that is going to have to be expanded as opposed to just renovated inside.
Right. Now, do you have a most memorable or maybe a favorite moment of your time working on the council?
Well, there were many, many, many memorable moments, certainly. But I think the biggest one for me was at the graduation where I got the college's gold medal. It was a huge surprise and a shock, but certainly a pleasant one. So that was my favorite memory.
Now you said the gold medal, but can you just tell me what that gold medal represented, or why did you get that?
My understanding is they still do that to this day, gold medals, and it just in terms of academics as well as extracurricular and sort of what you did for the college. So for me, it was a culmination of a fabulous time here at Mohawk College.
Well, thank you for sharing all your information today. We really appreciate that. The celebration of Mohawk College in its 50th year continues after this. Welcome back. Even upon graduation, your time at Mohawk College continues as an alumnus. There's also an opportunity to return and take advantage of continuing education through McCases.
The McCases Resource Center is a space open to full, part-time, and evening or continuing education students. The center offers services focused on career building, such as career coaching and student and grad employment. McCases was the Mohawk College Association for Continuing Education Students for 30 years. Its mandate was to support the well-being of CE students. McCases reorganized into a resource center and transferred CE student advocacy to the MSA in 2015. One thing all students have in common, whether they're full-time or continuing education, is completing their courses, and when that happens, they're considered alumni. The Mohawk College Alumni Association exists to provide that connection to graduates, both old and new. The association offers a number of perks to alumni, including, but not limited to, discounted insurance, travel plans, and continued use of on-campus services such as the library. They also host a number of events and award ceremonies, including the prestigious Mohawk Alumni of Distinction Award Dinner. New alumni can make use of the Backpack to Briefcase program to jumpstart their entry into the job market by attending a number of seminars to grow their professional network. This is all part of the role of the Alumni Association at Mohawk College.
Joining us in studio to speak about alumni is another graduate of the Broadcast, Television, and Communications Media program. She currently works at Cable 14, hosting the show Hamilton Life, and is also the vice chair of the Alumni Council. Please join me in welcoming Linda Rourke. Hi, Linda.
Hi, good to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
The studio's changed a lot.
Has it?
Since the days I was here. Same space, but it looks really great.
Amazing. Well, thank you. So you've been on the Alumni Council for 3 years now, but it's been 2 years and it's your second year of being the vice chair. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what the council does?
Sure. So the council's there basically to support and advise the Alumni Association. So we talk about ways to engage graduates from Mohawk College, how to get them to come back to the school, whether they're going to give us a donation or give them our time, guide us, like just to get involved with the school once they leave and get them to come back. So that's sort of our kind of our main role in a really short phrase and I'm not giving you all the details, but because it would take forever. And then as vice chair, I basically am the wingman for the chair. So if the chair can't be there, then I would step in. And then basically all you're doing is leading the council through the meetings and in the discussion and keeping things going, trying to get decisions made so that we're not there all night,
Right.
and keeping us as active and productive as possible during that time is basically what the chair and then vice chair would do.
Awesome. So Linda, you've obviously committed a lot of time and effort into this council and the alumni. Why?
Well, and that's a great question, because I think as a graduate of Mohawk College, and then once you get onto a council like that, and you're thinking as an alumni, why would I come back to the college? What would bring me here?
Right.
And it's interesting. I came back to the area. I'd lived in Montreal and Vancouver, Toronto, and then came back to Hamilton. And that was when I first started to reconnect with the college. So I'd been gone like quite a while before I came back to the area. So it was bringing me back to the Hamilton area that got me thinking again about Mohawk College. And then once I came to the college and saw all the changes, I was like, this is incredible. And it shouldn't have taken me this long to get back here.
Right.
So then I started thinking and what's available, what's going on. I hadn't really thought about the Alumni Association, so I looked into it more, saw all the things they were doing. I was like, holy smokes, I've been missing out. So from there, I just got asked about whether or not I'd be interested in being a council member, and 3 years later, I'm still part of it, and I really enjoy it, because it is always the question, as a previous student of Mohawk College, what would get me to come back? So we're constantly finding ways to make that happen for the other alumni.
Right. And am I right to think that when you're a student at Mohawk, the last thing you're thinking about is the Alumni Association?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I didn't for years, right? And the question is, why is that? And I think quite often for a student, they're thinking, I have to give back money, right? Like, Alumni Association means they're looking for money, and that's not the case. Certainly if you have it down the road at some point, it's great, but you can come back and tap into the things that we offer, because there's coaching, there's mentoring, there's all kinds of things like that as a recent grad that you could really tap into, which I think is phenomenal. And then as time goes on, then you can start giving back to those students, because you've been out there for a while in the workforce,
right,
and maybe you've got some great connections and you've got something that you can give back. So it's a journey, and I think that journey should start when you first leave Mohawk College, not 10, 15, 20 years later. It should be a journey that is ongoing. Be part of the Alumni Association, especially because so many of us bring in have such great memories of being at Mohawk College. So now you can keep those memories going and come back and give back to those students that will be graduating after you.
And you were talking about the TV studio and just other things around Mohawk. Is there anything else that has changed since you were here at Mohawk?
Oh, so many things. That would be a whole entire show,
right? A
to
whole
talk
list.
about what's changed. But I mean, it is incredible to come back and see what's going on with this college. I mean, the advancement in technology and the healthcare, like the programs that are offered here now, and even just coming back to F-Wing and seeing the changes. There's a lot that's still the same, but the technology and everything's moved forward, which is great. The mobile, your HD mobile that you have now in the television department. I mean, the David Braley athletic facility is incredible. I've come to see a few games there since, which is also really neat as a student to see those changes. The fact that you can live on campus, that really dates me. Tells you how long it's been since I have been here, because you can actually live on campus. So all those changes, I mean, Mohawk's moving in an incredible direction, and it's a powerhouse college in Ontario and in Canada for that matter. So we should be proud of it, not only as students going here, but as graduates and getting that word out there to the community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Linda, for coming here
Thanks
today.
for
We
having me.
appreciate you on the show. Well, we'll be right back after this as our celebration of 50 years at Mohawk College continues. Mohawk College alumni have always played a fabulous role in shaping the college community. They are always offering their support to other students and to the college as a whole. Let's take a look at one of the many alumni profiles that have been created for the Alumni Association.
I think the most important thing for graduates today is to be flexible. And that's flexible in terms of what kind of jobs they'd be willing to take, flexible in terms of where they would like to live, and flexible in terms of their worldview, what they think is important. Because they're going to go out into the world, they're going to meet a lot of really interesting people who will maybe critiquing them, they may be giving them negative feedback, positive feedback as well, obviously, but they need to be receptive And I think that the world is changing so rapidly. It's very exciting, and it must be scary for some graduates, but the world offers a lot of brand new opportunities. And just talking with a young person today who talked about different friends of hers who have created internet businesses for themselves. And so I think that graduates need to think outside the box, be flexible, and be creative. You just don't know what roads might open up for you, and to say no to an opportunity that might not be quite what you want could close doors that you couldn't imagine could be open to you.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our look at student government, alumni, and continuing education at Mohawk College.
This has been just one in a series of programs dedicated to the 50th anniversary of the community colleges in Ontario this year, and specifically Mohawk College. For more information about all the events associated with Mohawk's 50th anniversary, go to www.mohawkcollege.ca/50th. Thanks for watching.
Hi Mohawk, my name's Kyle Daskew, and I'm a proud graduate of the McKeel School of Business here at Mohawk College, and currently your president of the Mohawk Student Association. I'm very thankful to have been involved in this presentation of the 50th, as my few short years here at Mohawk have been absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see what the next 50 are going to hold, and I can't wait to be involved as a proud Mohawk alumni. Congratulations, and thank you once again.